and welcome everyone back to Chaos Child as we have reached, I believe, session number 7 at this point. And I'd say we're roughly a little under halfway done. We should probably get beyond the halfway point, I think, at this point. I don't know how short the chapters get as we continue on, so we're just going for it. And things, as many of you mentioned, things are definitely getting crazy. But how is everyone doing tonight? Welcome to Mito Green, Brian FD, Gregster, Eggroll, GCM of Chaos, Novoxis, Lass of Gloucester, Brian FD, Fa56, Nelson, Sonic Joe, Boo Scary Helicopter. Welcome everyone. Fa56, all that. Cat Evie, thank you very much for the 100 bits. Saying, cool cat, press tip. What do you do after a long weekend of work? Break out your game consoles, computers, and mobile devices. Play some games, watch some videos. Except now because we're here watching Derek play games. I like that tip. That's a good tip. Your sister saw the Mario movie and liked it. That's awesome, Lass. Yes. So those of you who don't watch the GVG cast, thank you, Just a Guy. Last Friday, Kai, unfortunately got a lucky hand in while I was trying to make, both my hands were occupied and I was trying to push him aside, as I was making up macaroni and cheese for him, and it spilled, boiling water on him. And basically got his, rib area, like just below the nipples, but above the stomach, and, got himself some first and second degree burns. We took him to the ER and all that, and they got him all set. Basically, what we've been doing for the past week and a few days now is we layer all that those open wounds with bacitracin. Put a wet bandage on it to keep it moist, so the gauze won't stick to it. And then we put an ace bandage on that, and he does very well. He lays there, does the whole thing, doesn't complain, and honestly doesn't seem to be that bothered by it. And by this point, he's healing up really good, really quick. Most of it. The smaller areas just look like bad sunburn, and like not even bad sunburn anymore. And the rest of it is very much closing up. Like it's definitely not that bad. So I think, honestly, by next weekend, I expect it to be almost fully healed. So, yeah. Now we just got to wait for those ER bills and whatnot to come in. Yay, American health system. So that's how he's doing. So but he's doing very well otherwise. So, yeah. Speaking of the health, speaking of American healthcare, or at least healthcare, in Chaos Child, we had our next murder, and we're ready to get out of the case. We are trying to get out of this, out of the whole thing but they have our cell phone. And we need to get our cell phone back because they are somehow able to call us, even though we've discovered a new link that seems to be pointing towards psychics being of varying types to be the victims, whatever that might mean for this whole thing. So we snuck into that hospital again to try to find the young girl and the old woman, and found a sub-basement where we ran into our, I'm blanking on her name, but the detective girl who's also infiltrating this, and we forced our way in, and found this computer that she's looking into files for, and it was all tense and struggling and all that stuff. It's like, oh boy, what's going to happen next? And then all of a sudden, that's it, Mio, thank you, Lass. And then all of a sudden, Shinji's like, hey, she's hot, and the music changed. I'm like, okay, that's a good place to stop. Oscar, thank you very much for the highlighted message. You got Fire Emblem Engage. Congrats. I have not actually picked that game up yet, but I've heard decent things, so that's exciting. So, yeah. Anyway, let's get to this silly scene and what actually happens next. Oh boy. You're kidding, right? You're telling me I missed a pretty girl like this? Not only was she attractive, she seemed incredibly smart, and she had an arrogant attitude that made her nothing like the other students. If she'd been coming to school, she would have stood out in both a good and bad way. But Ito didn't know her? What are you looking at? Serica asked the question that both Ito and I had been too afraid to ask. I was sure she'd be told to shut up, but... what they're doing here at this facility. She answered Serica's question with much more easily than I expected. Then maybe I could ask something too. Does this facility have something to do with the hospital? I told you to shut up. Damn it! Why was I getting treated so differently? Was it because Serica was a girl? Was she one of, you know, those... Really? Don't tell me she normally dressed and acted like a boy. Oh my god. That would explain why Ito didn't know her. Kunosato ignored me and he typed in a series of commands, then opened what looked like a top secret file. Oh my god. Japan moment indeed, soy sauce. Backwards moment. And then, that's it. She smiled for the first time that I'd ever seen and clicked on a file. And then something appeared on the screen. Was it some kind of drawing? It was a strange picture drawn in ink and paint. What is this? A scribble? No, that's... I'd seen it somewhere before. That was... That's right, a Rorschach test. I remembered reading about them in an issue of Cool Cat Press. You may look stupid, but I guess you do have some bare minimum of knowledge. I wasn't sure if that was a compliment or an insult. No, that's an insult, dude. That's definitely an insult. Two witches playing patty cake. I like it, just a guy. A Rorschach test? It's some kind of personality test, right? That's right. You look at a meaningless drawing made from ink stains, and what you see reveals things about your personality and how you think. More precisely, you use ink splashed from the folded paper to create a symmetrical picture. Just like Kunosato said, all the pictures on the screen were almost perfectly symmetrical. But there's doubts as to whether the Rorschach test actually functions as a psychoanalytical tool. Kunosato was studying the screen intently. Which means this is a psych ward, like the one upstairs. If that was the case, I could imagine what these monitors were there for. They were to look at each of the patient's rooms. That would mean that this was a medical facility that treated illnesses. At least that's what I wanted it to mean. Because that thing that Serica and I had seen as a child. That strange atmosphere that we had sensed. And that voice which I could still hear in my ears. Save me. We abandoned her and ran away from this place. So if that wasn't some kind of torture chamber and this place was actually curing her, Serica and I would be free of the guilt that had been with us for so long. But my hopes... No, this place isn't anything like that. Were quickly dashed by Kunosato's answer. She opened another folder. It was filled with reports, written in Japanese this time. Clinical trials involving intermittent pulses to the senses, electrical pulse signals to the lobes and their effect on the phenomena. They're trying to make psychics here. Just as I thought, they're doing clinical trials from a brain science perspective. Smash Math, thank you very much for that tier 2 subscription. 31 months now and counting. Hopefully more to come. I always did like your streams, Derek, ever since the Game Explained days, and it's great to see there's a nice community formed around it. Everyone here is great. Thanks for continuing to do this. Oh, my pleasure. I really do enjoy streaming for all of you, and that we just keep things going. It's I don't know, it's just a lot of fun. And no worries, Soy Sauce, about mostly during lurking. Gotta get that homework done. And Colex, week was pretty good. I'd say pretty solid. I have started doing the next phase of what I need to do to get part 1 of that Zelda retrospective done, and honestly, I'm feeling really confident in that one. I'm very proud of what I've done so far, so I'm looking forward to that coming out for everyone. A brain science perspective? Clinical trials? Shut up, no talking. But I think there might be a girl I know here.
ここにいたかもしれないんです。
What? I lied. I didn't know who she was. But if I didn't lie and didn't feel like she was going to tell me anything. Just as I expected, when she turned around, I saw the first faint glimmerings of interest in me on Kunosato's face. I gave her a brief description of what I'd witnessed here so long ago. Kunosato bit her lip. Her expression was different than before. So yes, Fall 56. The Tales retrospective is on in hiatus right now, mainly because I always wanted to have a Zelda retrospective done in time for Tears of the Kingdom, so I had to pause Tales. But then even working on Zelda, I realized if I wanted to go into the depth that I wanted in order to make it stand out from other things related to Zelda, because people know Zelda very well, it needed to be structured more like the Zeno retrospective, where there's more about behind the scenes and development side of stuff rather than, hey, these games exist. So that's why it's only part 1, because by the time I'm done with this retrospective, I expect it to be longer than Shin Megami Tensei. But once that's done, I'm going to work on my Dragon Quest 2 video, and then once Dragon Quest 2 is done, I'll finally return to Tales and finish that up. That's sort of my plan right now, to continue on and, you know, get all that set. And yeah, I'm probably going to go with Team Wisdom for the Splatfest. Oh, thanks, Soy Sauce. And hey, young ant. Alright, but then she forced herself to look back at the computer. Yeah, that was definitely a human experiment. A human experiment? Part 1 is 70 minutes from Zelda 1 to just before Ocarina. Part 2 will start with Ocarina's development. So, yeah. No, then that meant... Save me. Then that meant she was... That horrible vision started to eat away at me again. In the simplest terms, they were experimenting by screwing around with the human brain. Screwing around with the brain, but you can't... I told you, this place isn't anything like what you thought it was. Kunosato was trying to keep her face as expressionless as possible. And then the second she opened up another file, she gasped a little. I could see the words on the screen as well. Wait a second, what is this? She was completely focused on reading the report, so she didn't notice that I was looking over her shoulder as well. Clinical trials on supersensory perception, a practical approach to generation of special event fluctuations. What were event fluctuations? Kunosato clicked the mouse to move to the next page. I read along with her. Pathogenesis via visual stimulation, accuracy rating 9.25%. Manifestation via induced dopamine emission in the central limbic system. Damage and removal of hypothalamic area. No pathogenesis seen. Thought tracing, remote viewing, influence on events via amplified delusions. Over half the report was filled with specialized language that I didn't really understand. But by desperately connecting the words I did know, I managed to make some sense out of the report. And there's no way. I was stunned. Was that really possible? The girl who'd cried for us for help was being experimented on here. And the point of those experiments was to alter the human brain to give it supernatural powers? That explained why Shinjo and Kunosato were talking about psychics. And that was the commonality that I'd suspected was lurking behind the murders. Hey. Kunosato caught me looking and threatened me in a low voice. But I didn't have time to worry about that. Is
本当なんで
is
す
this true? It's like science fiction.
SF みたいなことが本当に
She looked unhappy, but gave in.
実験自体は
The experiments seem to have been going on for quite a while. Actually, it's safe to assume the entire point of this hospital was to camouflage those experiments.
その
この病院が
This whole hospital?
あ
Yep.
それで
But is it still...
は
Huh?
今は
Are those experiments still going on?
その実験
If that was true, was she still here?
いや
No, they were
ある
canceled
出来
after a
事をきっ
certain
かけに中止
event.
されたらしい
Something?
中止されたの
They
は
were canceled exactly 6 years ago, on November 6, 2009.
11月
それって
Is that
渋谷地震の
the
日
day of the Shibuya earthquake?
地震のせい
The
で
earthquake
研究どころ
caused
じゃ
too
な
much
かった
damage for them to continue their research?
いいや違う
No, that's not right. This hospital was well away from the epicenter. There was no damage at all.
じゃあどうして
Then why?
だから
That's what I'm
それを
trying to find out. I think one of their psychics caused that earthquake, if I had to guess. Kuno stopped short and clicked her tongue. She must have decided she told us too much.
いいからおとなし
Just
くし
stay
ろ
quiet. She pushed me away from the screen, lightly. It looked like she didn't want me to read anymore. Huh? What's this? Kunosato's hand froze on the mouse. She was staring intently at the screen. Then she started to talk to herself.
11番目の
The
ロール
effect of the 11th Rorschach on the
脳に
brain.
与える
The
影響
11th. She just knocked me away so that I couldn't see the screen, but I couldn't help but lean forward. Her voice was just that strange.
どうしたんですか
What's wrong?
ロールシャッハテストに
There's only 10 Rorschach. There's only 10 Rorschach tests. I've never heard of an 11th. Shut up, you. Kunosato turned around and glared at me. When she did, I caught a glimpse of the monitor. The screen was filled with thumbnails of the different Rorschach tests. And Kunosato was just about to click on this mysterious 11th Rorschach. Kunosato clicked to open the file. When she did... What appeared on the screen was...
歴史シール
the sumo sticker? What was going on? I felt sick. I couldn't stand. I collapsed to the floor. It felt like something was crawling up from the bottom of my intestines. That something was bugs. Tiny, slimy bugs with lots of little feet were crawling up from my stomach into my throat, scattering disgusting fluids behind them as they moved. Time for another out-of-nowhere delusion. The disgusting crawling sensation passed through my throat and out into my mouth. What the hell were these things? Stop it! Help me! I feel sick! Help me! Get out of my body! Taku? Ugh. Taku, snap out of it, Taku. Ew. Gross. Huh? Did I fall asleep? No, that wasn't it. I'd looked at the screen and gotten sick. And then passed out? Where was I? My head felt awfully cold. It feels kind of good. I could hear Sarika's voice, but I couldn't see her. Where was I? Look, look, look at Shin. Ito was here? You and I are matching, Taku. Matching? What was she talking about? When I looked to the side and saw it, my head cleared instantly. Sarika was next to me, lying in the same kind of seat I'd seen the girl in the visions sitting in. What was strange was her head. There was something on top of it, slimy and pink. No, that wasn't it. That was... The hell? That was her brain. The top of Sarika's skull was completely gone, with several electrodes sticking out of what remained. I suddenly heard a high-pitched voice from the other side. It took some time before I realized that the voice belonged to Ito. That's how insane it sounded. Sheesh. I couldn't tell if Ito was screaming in pain or pleasure. His brain was exposed, and part of it seemed to be missing. Doesn't this feel good, Taku? I tried to move, but I was held down tight and couldn't budge. Let me go! Let me go! Let me go! Don't move. I heard a cold voice from above my head. That voice was... I'll make you just like him now, so stay put. Something cold touched my head. At least, that's how it felt. And this delusion is ridiculous. Hey, Rusty. It felt good. Like my brain was going to me. It. And soon I... Well, I don't think that's part of the game. Game couldn't take it. Well, that sucks. Not only live these moments again. Yeah, right. Maybe there was a quick save I can get back to. It's a little sooner. Switch be like, this is too much for me. That was odd, wasn't it? Ah, crap. Yeah. Most recent one was the beginning of chapter 5. That's not going to work. DGC, thank you very much for the Prime subscription for 17 months now. Saying brains. Alright, let's get back to where we were. That's so weird. I think that's what the thing happened. Didn't have a buffer, I'll be honest. I don't have any drop frames going on. So that's the problem, is that it didn't count that I'd seen this already. Soy sauce. Come on. You can do it.
ほう。
あれだ。そう。インクのし。
正確に言えばインクのシミ。ただし。
ってこと。
Force skip is nice. Getting there. There is some regular saving, like quick saving happen, but not too often. Alright, and soon I wasn't sure where I ended and the rest of the world began. Nothing like a delusion. Jade and Buck, I'd say progress is going pretty solidly. I think we're nearing the halfway point of the game. Where was I? I was back in the basement? Taku? You okay? Huh? Yeah, I'm alright. Can you stand up? Here. Ito slowly helped me to my feet. My feed. Sorry, what happened to me? That creepy sticker suddenly appeared on the screen and you got scared. Then you tripped and hit your head. I see. I rubbed the back of my head and sure enough, there was a big bump. Kunosada was staring at me from in front of the screen. I thought she was going to complain again, but instead she pulled me up to look at the screen. There's something I want you to tell me. Come here. Oh, if it's that sticker, I'd rather not. I don't feel well. No, that's not it. Just come here. First you want me to not look, then you want me to look. What? Fine. Since it was clear that she wasn't going to take no for an answer, I stood next to her. This is the file I want you to look at. Kunosada tapped the report on the screen with her nails. It was found that the 11th Rorschach, that image you just saw, had some kind of effect, and the first experiments were performed in 2007, it says. 2007 was 2 years before the Shibuya quake. That was right about the time people started to see the sumo stickers, if I remembered right. And that was the same year we'd snuck in here to find out the truth about the urban legend of Amy. I took the mouse and read the next part. It was found that those with the potential to cause event variations responded differently to the 11th Rorschach than other subjects. This phenomenon was first observed in subject number 79, Senri Minamisawa. I wonder if that's a character from the first game. That sounds like it might be. Excuse me. And then I stopped scrolling down the screen. There was a picture of a girl there. Well, do you know this girl? Taku, this girl. Remember her? That was the girl. That was the girl we'd seen that day. That was the girl who'd seen us and begged for help. Kunosada looked at me. This is the friend you were saying might be kept here, right? Yes. I wasn't sure how to answer, but I decided to keep up the lie that she was my friend. The truth was, I'd only just now learned her name was Senri Minamisawa. I see. But Kunosada looked very sad. I didn't know she was even capable of looking that way. She stared at the picture of Senri Minamisawa on the screen. I don't like you, but I'm willing to show respect for the fact that you've never forgotten your friend who suffered here. Huh? Her eyes grew just a little softer. But I felt a cold sweat as I looked at them. No. It wasn't out of friendship that I'd never been able to forget the girl named Senri Minamisawa. It was because she was in my nightmare. But I couldn't say that. All I could do was try and make it hard to tell what I was really thinking. You wanted to save her, but you couldn't. But that's not your fault. You don't need to blame yourself. That's not it. That's not what happened. I'd been too afraid to save her, and I had abandoned her. What's she doing now, I wonder? Kunosada didn't realize what I was thinking, though. She caught up more data on the girl called Senri Minamisawa. Since she showed special symptoms in response to the 11th image, she was the subject of rather forceful experiments, but she survived. Forceful experiments? The kind that could kill you? When I heard that, I almost threw up. I did my best to keep Kunosada from finding out. But she was close to the epicenter of the Shibuya quake, and ever since then, she's been missing. Missing? No. More precisely, this facility shut down right after the earthquake, so there's no data on her. But there's a good chance that she didn't survive the quake. I see. It was horrible, but I felt a little less like throwing up. At least she hadn't died because of the experiments or because we'd abandoned her. Hearing that made me feel like been forgiven a little. A violent sense of self-hatred overcame me again. I'm sorry, Senri Minamisawa. She'd been practically tortured here as part of those experiments and then been caught in the earthquake. But and then I felt something tugging at the edge of my memories. Minamisawa. Hadn't I heard that name before? But then where and from who? Huh? But before I could think about it any further, Ito spoke up hesitantly. What? You said that this facility shut down, but that doesn't make sense. There are still people here, right? And there's also that little girl. Yeah, you're right. Hey, first time chat for Just Wondering here. Been a while since I've seen someone stream Chaos Child. Yeah, I was requested to play this. In case you're not a lurker before and just actually came to the stream, I have a special thing I do, Just Wondering, where people can earn channel points, and if they earn enough, they can request me to play a game. There's quite a list right now, but I eventually will get through all the games requested, and one of the earlier ones, at least, was Chaos Child. So this is my first time playing it. I'm roughly halfway through, I'd say, and it's been interesting for sure. We followed that little girl down here. If this place was abandoned, what's she doing here? Oh, that? Kunosato closed the file on Senri Minamisawa, and her face took on its usual cool, emotionless expression. This place is now being used as an institution to house subjects who encountered trouble during their experiments. Trouble during their experiments? It's an underground prison for patients whose brains were damaged in failed experiments, or who simply went insane. Some are kept locked in cells, and some aren't. A cold chill ran through my body. La la la. You can't mean... That's not... Just a guy. Listen, Dean, I calculated my game would come up with literally about 3.5 years. What's your game again, Just a Guy? I'm guessing it's on the long list. That's impossible. That's horrible. These people are willing to do anything to achieve their goals. Alright, Skies of Arcadia so long to get to that one. That's unfortunate. These people are willing to do anything to achieve their goals. These are the kinds of people you're up against. That's why I warned you at the start. Kunosato opened another file. 11th down the list, currently. According to this, there are still around 20 people being kept here. Who knows? Maybe if as we get more successful, or if we do become more successful, I can pop in another day and do long games twice a week. Try to get through those a little quicker. Who knows? She scrolled down the. Yeah, I have the Legends version, Soulcaster. She scrolled down the page and a new picture appeared. Oh, nice, Just Wondering. That's awesome. Oh, wait, that girl. That was the girl we'd been following. That's gotta be her, Taku. Her name is Uki Yamazoe. It looks like she was originally part of the experiments, too. Huh? This shattering revelation was presented to us as mere matter of fact, as if it was the most ordinary thing imaginable. Well, she's definitely older than she looks. Sarika covered her hand with her mouth and her eyes went wide. Then she had suffered the same fate as Senri Minamisawa? Fortunately, she managed to survive all the experiments without losing her sanity, and now she's been given the job of caring for the patients on this floor. Caring for the patients? I thought she was a criminal who'd stolen my smartphone and threatened me. And what's more, I thought that she was either connected with the killer, or maybe that she was the killer herself. But now I wasn't sure. I didn't hear about any kind of monster lawsuit. Huh. No, stop. Don't let yourself be fooled by her looks or her past. Tuxpang, thank you so much for that follow. Really do appreciate it. In that situation, she was the only one who could have picked up my phone. And if she was a test subject here, she might have some kind of power too. You need someone like that if you wanted to make a call from a cancelled smartphone. As my mind raced, Kunosato was checking out every bit of data on the machine. But the results of the experiments showed that only 0.01% of subjects were able to manifest a D-sword. The experiments were judged a failure, and it was decided that another course should be pursued. Knew it. Those idiot scientists. Glowstick Entertainment, the devs of my game Request Dark Deception, are getting sued by Monster Energy for having Monster... Oh, that's right. That's stupid. Monster is really dumb. They're just doing that to see if they can get away with it. Kunosato sounded uncharacteristically ticked off as she closed all the folders and turned off the PC. D-sword. That strange word snapped me out of my reverie. It seemed that was what she was looking for. I looked at her, hoping for some kind of answer, but she just glared back at me with terrifying eyes. Time's up. We're leaving. Huh? If we stay here any longer, they'll find us. But we still haven't found what we're here for. Your plan was terrible to begin with. You don't even know the layout of this facility, do you? She was right. I'd snuck in here as a child, but that was all. I didn't remember the details. They're going after a Pokemon. Pfft, yeah, that's not going to happen. Then there's no point in even looking. She was right, damn it, but there must be some way. I looked around the room and saw the rows of monitors. If they were on, they could at least tell us what was going on around the facility. Maybe they could tell us where Uki Yamazoe was. What's wrong, Miyashiro? I'm looking for the power source for these monitors. If we can turn them on, then maybe it's useless. We don't even know if the observation system is even functional. Huh? Suddenly the room was bathed in pale light. All the monitors on the wall turned on. What? All we could do was gasp. What we thought were security cameras were showing... I don't know what that is. Hundreds of sumo stickers. I almost screamed. I was so surprised. Taku, I'm scared. Inside the monitors on the wall was face after sumo sticker face, all looking at me. What was this? What was going on? Well, time for another delusion. Huh? Where am I? Why are these stickers causing him delusions? Hey, don't fall asleep. Kunosato? Huh? I was back in the chair. Was this a dream? Which was the dream? Was I dreaming of being in the chair, or had I been dreaming of being in the monitoring room? My head felt really cold. Oh, that's right. They opened my skull. You've got a nice brain, huh? Did I? It's all pink and wrinkly, and it looks delicious. Should I be happy about that? Of course. Now then, time for dinner. Do you know what my favorite movie is? What was it called? Hannibal? Yeah, I'm passing on these delusions. But these are forced delusions. We don't get to pick whether they're positive or negative. Kunosato grinned with glee and took something metallic out of her pocket. A spoon? The human brain tastes best when you eat it while it's still alive. Yeah, but there is a movie, the sequel to Silence of the Lambs, where it's infamous for making a character eat its own brains. Huh? Who knew?
では
Okay,
失礼して
here I go. Yummy. She was eating it. Kunisada was eating my brain. Oh man, I can't stop.
止まらない
I never thought it would feel so good when someone ate my brain. Okay. More. Eat more. Eat me. The hell? He's really got to stay away from these stickers. Again, I had another weird delusion. I quickly shook my head and slapped my hands to my cheeks to snap me out of it. I don't like these. I feel sick. Sarika and Ito looked unhappy. It was because of the sumo stickers displayed on the monitors. I looked at the monitors once more, trying my best to avoid the sumo stickers. Huh? Is that the inside of this hospital? Some of the monitors were showing the inside of the hospital, but some were looking somewhere else. Street corners on Shibuya, signs under bridges, alleyways, overpasses, train station staircases, store walls. And then I realized all the monitors with sumo stickers are from security cameras outside the hospital. Some of them I knew. That was the spot where Kurisu had been attacked. Of course there were sumo stickers there.
なるほどな
I see. So they've been searching.
探し
Searching?
さっきのファイルに
Remember what that file said? People capable of causing special event variations react strongly to the 11th image.
11番目のこの画像に
Kunisada pointed to a corner of one of the monitors. I quickly looked away before I got a direct look at the sumo sticker. Hey Horizon, how's it going? In other words, whoever was caught using this place to put up the 11th Rorschach image all over Shibuya and used these cameras to find people who reacted to it. And then they took them here and did those horrible experiments? I remembered what I'd seen happen to Senri Minamisawa and felt like I was going to throw up again. And then Kunisado made a sharp noise. She put her hand on one of the monitors to brush away the dust, then stared at it. It showed something moving around a dark room. There was no sumo sticker there. It wasn't an image of Shibuya or of the hospital above, so it was probably showing one of the rooms down here. That girl. It was definitely the girl. On the screen, she was saying something to an old person lying on a bed and gently wrapping belts around their arms and legs.
急げ
Hurry! It's almost time for security to come by. That girl was my only clue as to where my smartphone was, which meant that we had to find the room on the monitor. Kunisado suddenly told me she knew where it was. She'd been so uncooperative so far, I had no idea why she suddenly decided to help. Sorry about that, DGC. That definitely was a lot. Thankfully, it didn't have any visuals of it, but they certainly go places. But when she saw the girl, she suddenly said she'd go with us. Of course, I knew her well enough by now. She wasn't helping us. She'd simply taken an interest in that girl. At least that was how I saw it. As we moved down the dim hallway, the temperature dropped and the humidity went up.
ここだ
This is it. She stopped in front of the door with strange words on the plate. Confinement room 3. Kunisado opened the door a little, taking care to make as little noise as possible. I peeked inside. And there I saw a world that I'd only ever seen in movies. There were rows of beds in the room. And there were what appeared to be prisoners lying on them. They had different ages and sexes. Some were old and some seemed young. And one of them I recognized. It was the old lady the girl had been walking with before. 2139857179835 Well, that's not good. Some were screaming, some were counting numbers endlessly. One was a girl who was endlessly chewing her food. It seemed unreal. I remembered the woman with the baby carriage I'd passed before and felt cold sweat forming on my palms. This is severe OCSD, overeating and chewing caused by damage to the hypothalamic area. Hemispatial neglect caused by damage to the cerebral hemisphere. All of them have had their brains messed with. Time for some info. The inability of a person to recognize stimuli that occur on either their left or right side caused by some form of damage to the brain. For example, if a patient with this disability was asked to draw a picture of an analog clock, they would only be able to draw half the numbers. This is because while their eye sees the entire clock, the brain is only able to recognize half of it. A type of eating disorder seen in mental patients refers to the act of endlessly chewing one's food rather than chewing and then swallowing it. Obsessive compulsive spectrum disorders. A spectrum of disorders with obsessive compulsive qualities, such as the compulsion to repeatedly wash one's hands to wipe away an invisible stain. Disorders such as okay. Standalone. Okay. Actually, we know why I'm here. We'll save just to be sure to save. The book The Man Who Mistook His Wife for a Hat? I don't think I heard of that. Then everyone here, they can't be easily disposed of, so they're kept here. For a moment, the tone of her voice changed. It felt like there was a pale flame burning somewhere deep within her voice. It was a pale flame of rage, which seemed cold at first glance, but was in fact incredibly hot. Taku. Sarika tugged at my sleeve and whispered. She pointed at a bed in the back with her other hand. I could see something moving past what looked like a curtain. I'm sorry. It's a little cramped, but please endure it. When you wake up, we can go for another walk, okay? Oh, yes, I'm coming. Just wait. Someone appeared from within the curtain. That's her. That's the girl. The girl in the file, Uki Yamazoe, didn't seem to notice us. Hey! GVG with rating. Party from rating us. What were you guys playing? It was a Sunday, so I assume it was Monster Hunter? What were you guys playing? Yep. Monster Hunter Rise. I knew it. Glad you're feeling well enough to play some Monster Hunter, Brandon. But yeah, we are playing some Chaos Child, a murder mystery visual novel. It's definitely been interesting. But hopefully you're doing well. Hopefully you got a lot done in Rise. I don't know when your next DLC is coming, but I assume it's coming. I assume there's always something happening. Good. She's still sane. I could hear Kunosato whisper. Yeah, there's not always disturbing images, but we just had the description of a delusion where the main character got had his brains eaten and was enjoying it. It's that type of game. Just for the warning, if in case this is not really your thing. How do I get my phone back from her? I don't know if she'll listen to me if I ask for it, and if she sets off an alarm. I'm getting her out of here. Once she's out, you can ask her whatever you want about your phone. Huh? It took me a moment to figure out what she was saying. Oh, I forgot about the digital event for Sunbreak on Wednesday. But by the time that I did, she flung open the door to the room and leapt inside. Uki Yamazoe's eyes went wide at this sudden intruder. Kunosato grabbed her hand. Who are you? All the patients started to scream, afraid of this sudden commotion. Everyone, please calm down. It's all right. Yamazoe looked around the room and tried her best to calm the people there, even as Kunosato held onto her arm. Just come with me. Huh? Oh, Blue Gal, thank you so much for the follow. Really do appreciate it. Thank you. Security will see us. Hurry up. Who are you? What's going on? Ah, they're prepping for it. That makes sense, Sumomo Annie. Awesome. I'm setting you free from this place. No, don't! Stop! The girl named Uki Yamazoe went pale and tried to free herself from Kunosato's grip. She was completely in a panic. Kunosato must have decided there was nothing to be gained by talking, because she quickly moved around behind her and put her arm on the girl's carotid artery. Then she applied a very light pressure. Uki Yamazoe moaned for just an instant, and then she slumped backward into Kunosato's arms. I'm blanking on my Star Trek stuff, but I don't really watch Star Trek, so I don't really feel bad about that. Vulcan neck hold. She seemed to have passed out. Hey. Yes? Time's up. Get separated from me and I leave you. What happens after that, I don't care. If you don't want to end up like these guys, follow me. She put the unconscious girl on her back and then ran outside the room without bothering to wait for us. I was stunned at her speed, but there was no time for hesitating. On the way, Ito! I motioned to Serika and Ito and ran out into the hallway. We followed after Kunosato as fast as we could. Just like she said, if we got lost here, we'd be caught for sure. And who knew what would happen to us then? I didn't know who was doing these experiments or why, but their victims were suffering horrible fates. As I ran, it felt as if their screams of rage were following me. I can't go anymore. I can't move. We followed Kunosato as fast as we could, then made it outside the hospital via a different route than before. Kunosato was sweating like a racehorse, and her breathing was heavy, but she never let her guard down for a second. Instead, she seemed to be looking around intently. We were at the back of the hospital. This seemed like the exit, where they moved corpses from the morgue to the hearse. For that reason, there was a fence surrounding us that kept us hidden. Kunosato had evidently taken this fence into account in her escape plans from the start. What do we do now? I was too out of breath to speak, so Serika spoke for me. The underground facility's probably in an uproar now. They'll find us soon. If you don't want to die, move. Let's go. We were almost at the rear gate to the hospital. She started to run toward it. We followed her with the last of our strength. And I've read enough that I desperately need a drink. There was a guard station there, but inside there were only 2 men, asleep, heads pointed at the ceiling. The sleeping drug I used doesn't last that long. If we don't hurry, they'll wake up. I frantically made my way through the guard station and finally got past the hospital's outer walls. We ran a little longer and found a van parked in a secluded spot. What's going on, Mio? Looks like you got a crowd with you. A broad-shouldered woman looked up at us from the driver's seat. It was hard to tell how old she was. Her attitude and bearing made her look like an older person, but the mischievous grin on her face made her seem younger. So, did you find what we needed? Yes. Even after all those victims it created, the experiment failed to complete the theory. I see. They found no reliable way to cause the D-swords to manifest, so the Gigalomaniac experiments were deemed a failure. Well, that's just what we suspected. Gigalo what? And what was a D-sword? Didn't she say something about that in the monitoring room? I did find an important source of information, though. Kunosato opened the rear door and laid Uki Yamazoe on the back seat. Her? I think she's a survivor of the experiments. I want to take her with us. That's, well, whatever. She can stay with us for a while. Excuse me. Oh, wow. The 19th is when the Power Rangers special is happening. I forgot about that. That's pretty cool, though. Kurosato hadn't even dropped her attitude for Detective Shinjo, but now she was being polite. Just who was this woman? And who are these people? Your friends? No, of course not. I'll decide later if they're good for anything, if you could just take them to my place. She seemed to be referring to us, but what did she mean by good? She was as arrogant as ever, and like usual, she was pissing me off. Roger, everyone get in. Hurry. Her voice got a little sharper as she pointed to the middle seat in the back of the van. We could hear what sounded like a lot of yelling from the direction of the hospital. We quickly jumped inside and closed the door. Kunosato got in the front passenger seat. The van started quietly and headed off into the night. This is it. Come in. Why are you staring? Get moving. Excuse me. It's not nice to stare at people's homes. Home? Is this your... That's right. Is there a problem? It's just, I mean... The outside wasn't much better, but looking inside, it was hard to believe that there were still apartments this dumpy in Shibuya. The same was true of everything else in the room. Everything in the apartment was the cheapest kind you could buy. The only thing that was worth anything was the computer. Huh? What is it, Miyashiro? I pushed Ito out of the way and ran over to the computer. The monitor was still on. And the page was the one I'd seen many times. Shibuya News. And it wasn't the display version of the page that we'd seen so many times. The page was in the process of being edited. No way. Are you Kei? So that was it. I thought I'd heard her voice somewhere before. I was wondering when they'd find that out. Her voice was just too different from the gentle Kei that we were used to hearing. But that voice was, without a doubt, Kei's. What? No way. Seriously, you mean you're Kei from Shibuya News? Ito was pretty excited too, it seemed. Of course he was. Kei was someone we both admired. She was the ultimate right-sider. Since even I admitted it, she had to be at the top of her class. I never thought I'd be able to meet her like this, though. But I can't say I'd ever imagined Kei having a weird personality like this. Kunosato, the girl who'd been insulting us the whole evening, was the same person as the gentle Kei that we knew from the Shibuya News. Which was the real one? I didn't know. Yeah, it's obviously the mean one. And why had Kei brought us to her room? I thought I remembered her saying she decided she could use us later. Oh boy. Yeah, no, not doing this. I looked over and saw something strange in the corner of the room. The best way to describe it would be to call it a sword. That is a wild sword. but I wasn't sure if most people who saw it would think that. Its design was complicated and, frankly, unrealistic. For some reason, looking at it made me feel uneasy. It made me feel really bad, actually. What was that? What was that? What was that? If someone told me it was for cosplay, I'd probably believe them. If nothing else, it didn't match the image I had of the person in front of me. Not the Kei I knew from Shibuya News, or the Kunosato who'd been swearing at me the whole night. Did she maybe have a third identity? Maybe she was a famous cosplayer. Ah, that's where the positive one would end up. Or maybe she was a toy artisan who made life-size weapons. Maybe she was an otaku who collected swords like this. Either way, it felt like a bad idea to mention it. Best to just ignore it. Best to pretend I never saw it. Anyway, it seemed like Kunosato knew something. What was she thinking? Why was she holding out? Was she enjoying seeing us confused? Did she enjoy knowing things that we didn't? Was she trying to assume a bigger role in the story? Why did characters like this always act so arrogant when you saw them in movies and novels? Who the hell do you think you are? Just give us the damn information already. That's the whole point of your character, right? Are you trying to draw out the mystery so you get more screen time? You're just a side character, so no. Did we break the fourth wall or something? What the hell's happening? Know your damn role. There was no way I could say that. So I just had to wait for her to start talking. More importantly, you. Huh? You, Takaru Miyashiro. Stop acting so bewildered all the time. Right, what is it? Crap, she was really scary. Was the Kei that I loved only an image I created for myself? Yes. And was this girl who she really was? Yes. Kunosato stood by the wall and glared at me, oblivious to how I felt. What is your power? Huh? It was so sudden that I didn't know what I'd been asked. Power? Who, me? I told you before, right? That facility was heavily guarded. It wasn't the kind of place an amateur could get inside that easily. I just got lucky. A lot of coincidences happened, and that's how I got inside. Don't hide it. You're using your power to do it. You're wrong. It's the same thing with the way the observation monitors turned on. What was she talking about? I didn't have any kind of powers. And wait, Kei, I respected you, so try not to disappoint me so much. What evidence do you have for that anyway? When I saw you down there, I figured that either you or he had to be a psychic. Kunosato pointed at me and Ito in turn. Ultimate lucky student, exactly, GCM of Chaos. Soy sauce. It's a lot of Takaru projecting his own insecurities on how Mio is someone who's arrogant, but actually has intelligence to back it up. Me too? Yeah, but you didn't show any signs of a response after that, so I eliminated you. Response? When you saw the 11th Rorschach. Kunosato's deep dark eyes were peering into me. But Takaru Miyashiro, when you saw that image, you reacted violently. No, I mean, that picture's really creepy, right? Of course I did. The way you reacted was different. How did you feel when you saw it? Tell me. Ugh. The feeling I'd experienced when I'd seen the sumo sticker image came back to me. When I looked at it, all the hairs on my body stood on end, and I was attacked by nightmarish delusions from which there was no escape. It was so scary that I couldn't help but look away from it. Alright, want to look at it again to prove your innocence? Kunosato turned toward her computer and opened up a folder. She watched my face carefully as she moved to click on an image inside the folder. No, please stop. I slowly sank to the floor and sat down, sweat pouring from my body. I looked away from the computer. I didn't have the courage to look at that image right now. Enough of this! Sarika interrupted with a yell. It was the first time in ages I'd heard her yell. I looked up to see her standing between me and Kunosato with her hands on her hips. What do you think you're doing? Are you seriously talking to Taku about psychics? Like this is an anime or something? You're insane. What? Onoe. Taku's seen those stickers at places where people have been killed. Of course they make him sick. When I remember what happened at the Love Hotel, I feel like throwing up too. If something that stupid is your proof, that makes me a psychic too, doesn't it? No, you're not a psychic. Why? Sarika pushed harder. When she thought I was in trouble, sometimes she would turn into a totally different person. She would try to protect me in a different way than Kurisu. It made me happy and it made me feel better, but... Onoe, thanks, but can you cool it for a little? What? But... Just back off for a bit. Thanks. Really. There was no way I had any kind of psychic power, but I'd already suspected that powers like that were involved in this case somehow. So I wanted to hear what Kunosato had to say. Excuse me. Kunosato looked at me for a moment questioningly and then sighed. Then she took out her phone and made a call. The person on the phone didn't seem very happy about it, but they eventually gave their approval. She nodded and hung up the phone, then spoke. We're leaving again. Well, this time you won't be in any danger. Don't worry. Ah. Huh. It's awfully late for you to be visiting, but there's still time before we close, so enjoy and relax. Kunosato took me to Cafe Lax. We were taken to a big table by the window. Come to think of it, I'd just been here a while ago. Last time it was to listen in on the conversation between Hine Arimura and Shinjo. While I was thinking about that, the person Kunosato had called walked into the cafe. They seemed upset. Huh? When I looked up and saw who was there, I gasped. It's awfully late for you to be visiting. Enjoy and relax. I'll be leaving as soon as I'm done. You're late. Even I have to get ready to go places. Hine Arimura? It was the girl I was just thinking about. Huh? It's Hina. Hello. So what's going on here, everyone? No clue. Don't ask me. True, what was she inviting Hine here for? And you know, Kunosato, I told you not to get me involved in things just because I'm a helpful tool. We offer each other information. That was the deal. And yet you're the one who's using me, not the other way around. Just sit down. Arimura sighed, glanced at us, and sat down with a frown on her face. There was an awkward moment after we ordered our drinks when no one spoke. So, what's up? Once our drinks arrived, Arimura, of course, was the first one to speak up. I figured it'd be faster to show them than explain. Did you tell them? You couldn't. I decided they could be worth using. Really? I wish you'd cut that out. From the way they were talking, Arimura must have known about these powers as well. And... just stop whining and show them. Show them? Wait, she couldn't mean... No, it's a pain in the butt. Wow, look at that. We actually have Takaru on screen. Look at that. I want proof of whether or not Takaru Miyashiro is a psychic. No way, I told you, I'm not. He's a psychic, no doubt about it. Arimura spoke as if it was the most normal thing in the world. Arimura? Hey, is she right, Miyashiro? I can't believe that. I told you, I don't know what she's talking about. I see. It's true that he doesn't know. It's true that he doesn't know, it looks like. He has no idea. Only a psychic would deny it. How would you know, Arimura? Oh, you really have no idea? Of course I don't. If I had that power, I would have used it for something.
でも
But when you want something to happen, something special always does, right? For example, when you snuck into the Love Hotel, the door to the room was locked, so how did you get in? You're lying, it wasn't locked. No, it was, but suddenly it wasn't. Am I wrong, Sari? Huh? Sarika hesitated for a moment and then looked at me. Yeah, I did hear a click. Onoe? See? That's your power. My power? No way. It's likely the ability to cause things to move. It's usually called telekinesis, but its other name, psychokinesis, might be more fitting for you. That's how you were able to get inside the hospital so easily. Are you serious? Ito was looking at me in shock. No, wait, that's not right. We're the master of unlocking. Of course. So when I go into the psych ward in the underground lab, a lot of coincidences had happened all at once. Doors that would normally be locked weren't. When I'd gone down to the underground facility from the autopsy room, something had gotten stuck, and I'd been able to open the secret door. But there's no such thing as psychic powers. But Miyashiro, you said they might be the key to this case. I did say that, but... Sure, I'd been saying it just a little while ago, but only after being told I was psychic did I understand. I hadn't actually really believed it. When I'd said it aloud, I'd acted like it was some brilliant theory, but in my mind, I'd still been treating it as fiction. I thought it was Sarika that opened the doors as well, Time Sage, but it turns out to be us. That was always my assumption. Because Sarika was always with him. I mean, you know, right? How could I have something so crazy? Can you answer every question I'm about to say with no? Huh? What's this all about? Just do it, okay? Okay. I nodded since it didn't seem like I was going to be given a chance to disagree. You think everyone in your class is an idiot? No. But you wish you could be part of their group. No. You've gone to karaoke by yourself. No. You went to karaoke by yourself, but didn't sing a single song. No. When you were living with Kurisu, you peeked in on her when she was in the bath. No. I see. I understand. Arimura nodded and smiled. The heck? You understand what? First, the first question. Miyashiro, you think everyone's an idiot, don't you? That's not true. Next, but you're actually lonely and want to be part of their group. No, I'm not interested in their unproductive conversations. You went to karaoke by yourself, didn't you? Just to do something for the newspaper club. I didn't sing. That's a lie. Huh? You did sing. I did not sing. Was it just one song? I told you I didn't sing. I see. It was just one song, huh? Hey, Miyashiro, is that true? You kept insisting you didn't sing, remember? Arimura, how did you know this stuff? It had seemed like a waste, so I did sing one song. Finally, when Kurisu was in the bath... Enough! Stop it! Taku... Sarika pushed down at her Garo Froggy strap and made a noise like the You Lose buzzer on a game show. Is this a TV variety show or something? No, that was Yuno playing a trick. He said nobody was inside, so I opened the door, and I looked away quickly so I didn't see anything. It's true. Do you have any idea what hell I went through after that? Just remembering it terrified me. Wait, no.
それが一体何だっていうの
What of it?
わかりませんか
Can't you tell?
今の
That's
私の
my
能
power.
力です
Huh?
他人の口にした
I
言
can
葉
tell
が
what someone
嘘か
says
真
if
実か
what
わか
someone
る
says is true or false.
それが
That's
私
my
の能
power.
力なんです
She could tell if someone was lying? And then I finally realized. The way Arimura had acted and the things she'd said.
言葉に出してもらって
Can you say that aloud? Was that what that was about? Ooh, we're getting some good intrigue here.
彼女の言ってること
Is what she's saying true?
いや
No, it could be hot reading or cold reading.
可能性もある
Hot reading?
つまり
It's when you look things up ahead of time. Actually, just look it up on your own later.
あ
Forget it. This is taking too long.
あ面倒だ
Kunosato looked annoyed and bored as she watched our conversation.
あれを見せてやれ
Show it to him. That's the
それ
fastest
が一
way.
番早いあれですか
Show him? Here?
多分
I don't think anyone but Miyashiro will be able to see it.
そうかもしれません
Maybe, but...
けど
Arimura looked toward the ground. Show me something? Wait, what was she going to show me? She nodded reluctantly and then suddenly stood up in front of me.
宮代先輩
Miyashiro?
No.
What?
よく
Watch
見ててくだ
carefully.
さい
And then she lifted up her skirt. No, that's not what happened. Huh? What are you going to show me? I almost asked, but then stopped. Suddenly, she stretched her right hand out to the side. She inhaled slowly and then seemed to draw something out of the air. Huh? As I sat there astonished, she pulled something impossible out of empty air. It was warped yet elegant, ugly yet fascinating. It was inorganic and organic at the same time. It was as if it contained every shape in the world. It was a... The hell? Well, I guess we knew what the D swords are. A sword? Wasn't this the same thing that Kunosato had in her apartment? The shape was different, but it had the same terrible feeling to it. But Arimura had just pulled it out of thin air. How did you do that? Arimura looked unhappy as she saw my
やっ
shock.
ぱり
So you can see it. Huh? What's she talking about, Taku?
剣ってなんだよ
What do you mean, a sword?
見えないのか二人とも
Soy Sauce saying, yeah, D swords and psychics are one of the more disappointing elements of the murder mystery for me. It was hinted at a lot beforehand and established in Chaos Head, but I much prefer grounded murder mysteries than kids with funky anime swords with psychic abilities. I mean, like I said before, Japan loves their psychics. I enjoy watching Linkara's videos, and so he was covering the Ring series. And I don't know much about the Ring other than the American series, but that... You know, while that seems like more of a horror series to us, the original novel and a lot of the early movies are actually more about psychics. So, yeah. Japan loves psychics. You two can't see it? Excuse me. Sarika and Ito both shook their heads.
そんなバカな
That's impossible. Excuse me. It was huge. How could they not see it? I quickly looked around the room, but no one else, not the customers or the employees, was looking at the thing in Arimura's hands. No, they couldn't see it.
これで決まりだな
That settles it.
ど
What do you mean?
ことなの
今
What Arimura is holding can prove that someone is a psychic.
それ
It's
が
called a
能力
D
者の
sword.
証だ
D ソード
A D sword? I'd heard her use that word before. I didn't realize that she was talking about this though.
その状態のディソードは
Only psychics can see D swords in that state. In other words, if you can see it, it's beyond any reasonable doubt that you're a psychic.
間違いなく
Kunosato's cold voice dropped even lower than usual.
でも僕
But I've never used any kind of power like that.
でも事実
But it's true. I couldn't believe it. So much was going through my head that I couldn't think. I looked over at the D-sword again. Arimura fiddled with it and snorted. Well, since we're both gigalomaniacs, let's get along, I guess. Gigalomaniacs? I remembered Kunisada using that word before, too. That's what we call psychics, gigalomaniacs. It doesn't matter what you call them, I still can't believe it. My psychokinesis, you called it? That's unscientific. Yeah, psychokinesis is simply the word I use to make it easier for you to visualize. There's actually a more scientific concept that exists. Scientific? I looked at Arimura's sword skeptically. Scientific. That. Oh, I think you're wasting your time, Kunisado. Even if you explained it, he wouldn't understand a word. By the way, neither did I when she explained it to me. Don't think I'm like you. I'm actually... Right. Damn it, she was pissing me off. You don't need to understand it. What you need to understand is this. Don't use your gigalomaniac power like you're in a cartoon. It's not that simple, and it's not that pleasant. I love that they have to explain cartoon. It's definitely a plot device to have things move along. I don't hate it, it's just not my thing. Well, we needed a reason for the main protagonist to actually be involved in all this. Just Wondering says, in this scene, the rules and uses of D-swords that are explained are very surface level in Chaos Child and goes way more in depth in Chaos Head, since it expects you to understand what they are. Okay. Yeah, I've not played Chaos Head, I just went straight into Chaos Child. What's different? The ability of a gigalomaniac is, put simply, the ability to change their delusions into reality. Ah, so that's how you get the different endings. Change their delusions into reality? What was she talking about? That wasn't scientific at all. Have you ever heard of the Dirac Sea? Well, of course you haven't. The Dirac Sea? Sarika started to fidget on the sofa. She probably couldn't follow what we were talking about at all, but she could tell that I was nervous. That's a concept from quantum mechanics, isn't it? Oh, I'm surprised. I didn't expect a mere high school boy to know that. For some reason, a lot of people on the Japanese internet loved relativity theory and quantum mechanics. Look at that dumb grin. Schrodinger's cat, for example, had been discussed so many times by now that it was considered an embarrassment to even bring it up. So I knew a little. It's defined as a vacuum filled with negative energy, right? That vacuum is called a Dirac Sea. That's right. The Dirac Sea is a world filled with negative energy. Kunisada looked at Arimura's hands as she held the D-sword. And then Arimura smiled, a little wickedly. And this, what's it see? You use it and this sword to make your delusions reality. That's called a real boot, supposedly. A real boot. Or real boot. The D-swords are shaped like weapons, but that's not all they are. They are terminals that let you affect the Dirac Sea and function as a pipe between it and reality. I think it has ties to Steins Gate? Soy Sauce and Just Wondering probably knows it much more. By using these terminals, gigalomaniacs can draw out more negative energy than should be able to exist in reality. Then, in accordance with Hole theory, pairs of particles and antiparticles are created. They become errors which affect the dead spots of others' brains. Dead spots of the brain? Dead spots of the brain. By dead spots, I refer to the blind spots in the visual area of the human brain. Affecting these areas means transmitting your own delusions into them so that the target sees your delusion. And the target experiences that delusion as a completely real phenomenon. But that's just a hallucination, isn't it? It's no different than hypnosis. Hypnosis, really? Then what if every single person around you recognizes that delusion as reality? Every single person? That's right. And what if by everyone, I meant every single person in Shibuya? Or what if that spread to everyone in Tokyo, then everyone in Japan, and then everyone in the world? Who would tell you that it wasn't real? That's... At that point, your delusion is neither fiction nor hallucination. It becomes reality. That's why we call it real booting. But that's impossible. There's no way you could alter reality like that. I rubbed my head with my fingers, trying to make some sense out of all of this. Let's say that hypothetically, and just hypothetically, mind you, I was one of these gigalomaniacs. It's impossible for a delusion to affect the real world, like opening a locked door. All of the researchers, including us, thought the same thing at first, but we were overly optimistic. What? The delusions of the gigalomaniacs and the shared reality they create are capable of altering the physical world itself. That's what makes them so dangerous. I looked at Arimura's sword and then back at Kunasato. Arimura was still smiling as she held the sword in front of me. I couldn't tell if the light it gave off was holy or evil, but for a moment it was so beautiful that I shivered. I think we're finally in the next day. One thing I would like to point out from Chaos Head, immature gigalomaniacs don't understand the uses of D-swords very well and use them as weapons, which is an inefficient way to use them. Oh, okay. Guess that makes sense. Would definitely be a lot more powerful. I'll be actually right back, guys. Kiko is wanting to try to get in the room, and I don't want her to bark and wake up Kai, so I'll be right back. Okay. We are back. The town was filled with noise that threatened to swallow her whole. But that was just the way she wanted it. Shibuya was a town that accepted anybody and rejected everyone. It was the only place that would let her be a part of it now. She moved her legs forward valiantly amidst the hustle and bustle. Forward, forward. Each step she took, her face twisted with horrible pain. Or at least, that's how it seemed to her. She didn't know if the pain was actually appearing on her face. Her face was covered with scars and shielded by long hair that hid her hate. But as she dragged her legs down the streets, no one in Shibuya stopped to look at her. She was grateful for that. But at the same time, she hated it. I get the feeling this is Senri. A flame burned within her womb. It was a flame of hatred. She was nothing but hatred now. The businessmen who passed by her on the street, the empty-headed students, the happy couples, the miserable-looking old people. She hated everyone. But she hated them most of all. She hated the ones who had abandoned her. She hated the ones who had done this to her. If they hadn't abandoned her, this never would have happened. What if she's the murderer? The hatred burned within her womb. No, she was the hatred. The power she gained that day, it was all for this. Only the joy of revenge drove her forward. Forward and forward. And then, she didn't notice that the people who passed by her turned back in surprise. She didn't realize it herself. But the woman was laughing. She was laughing so hard that anyone could hear her, like black smoke from a flame rising towards the sky. She raised her voice and laughed. Okay. How goes it? Miyashiro's awakening. Not completely yet. What else? He seems to have finally remembered. Their existence? Yes. What are the sin he committed? Yeah, not yet. Understood. It is almost the day of judgment. Who are these people? Huh. Well, we made it to Monday. So, earlier, Soulcaster was asking about robotics notes, where that takes place. According to Soy Sauce, that takes place, I think, 10 years after Steins Gate and 5 years after this game. And while the story in that is mostly self-contained, it picks up some of the conflict and delusion mechanics of Chaos Head, which is why I recommended to play a Chaos game before it, as that stuff would come out of left field. Makes sense. All right, Monday. Hey, is that the thing? The one that's really popular right now? What, really? That's crazy. And why the hell is that? It's supposed to curse you, right? Isn't that crazy? Come on, let's take one. Ah, come on, that's crazy. It's crazy. Oh, is that the thing? What thing? Huh? You haven't heard about them? The sumo stickers. Sumo stickers? Kadivi has not got his phone back yet. Oh, come on, you're joking, right? Don't tell me you've never heard of them. No, I seriously haven't. Seriously? They're really popular right now. Popular? They're creepy as hell. No, I guess popular isn't the right word. They were found at the sites of those murders. You know, the weird ones. The stickers were? Why? I don't know why, but it probably means something, right? Sumo stickers, huh? They couldn't have picked a better whatever. Look, here's another sumo sticker. I'll be right back again. Callie was in here earlier, our cat, and now she wants out. Pets. Okay, now we're good. Pets can't decide whether they want to be in or out. Wow, there are even more of them? Are you doing whatever? Aren't they kind of cute? Like if you put one on your bag? You're kidding me, right? Cute? I'm telling you, they're really popular, don't you think so? Get that thing away from me. It makes me feel sick to look at it, kind of. See? She says it makes her feel sick. No way, it's cute. Huh? What did you put on that? Oh, this? It's that sticker. Neat, huh? Oh, I like it. Right? This is gonna be the next big thing. Want to look at cute on a t-shirt? Oh, but don't you think people would say it's inappropriate? Sure, but who cares if we all wear them? Want to try and make some merchandise? That's a great idea, like socks or something cute. Maybe I'll think about it. I get the feeling that somebody's causing a delusion for all these stickers to start appearing or make them popular or something. What's up? Do you smell something burning? Oh yeah, it happened here, I heard. What did? You've heard about the person going around setting all those fires, right? The serial arsonist? Oh yeah, I think I did. Just Wondering says, one thing I really like about Chaos Trial is how you could solve many of the mysteries within the third chapter, maybe even sooner if you played the previous games. Specifically Robotics Notes, Chaos Head, and Chaos Head Love Choo Choo, a dating sim inspired game. Yes, it helps you understand the story. What the hell? Alright, that's something. And it's supposed to be because of that. Whatever. What's with that? Seriously, it's supposed to be the same as that last thing, right? The New Generation Madness, you mean? Yeah, the New Generation Madness. It's a copy of that. Stuff's getting really bad in Shibuya, man. So, as you can see, the dates of all these incidents match the dates of the original New Generation Madness. And people are asking what the connection would be. What are your thoughts on this? Well, it's safe to assume that there's some kind of connection. But at the moment, I think it's too early to assume that all these are the work of the same perpetrator. And why is that? The sumo stickers that were found at the scene are also found everywhere in Shibuya. It should be relatively easy to find one. Thus, it's possible that someone left them at the scene to make it all look like the same person was responsible for all the incidents. Heard the Love Choo Choo games are canon. That scares me. Fan service is my least favorite part of the series, and a whole game of it shudders. Yeah. I don't know. Playing all this makes me wonder how the heck Chaos Head ends. Like, because right now, it doesn't seem like it's a happy ending. The New Generation Madness. Exactly, Sketch Pixels. So, you think they're trying to confuse the police? Yes, that's what I think. Especially in an internet-oriented society like ours. Excuse me. Aw, Tuxpang, thank you very much for the Prime subscription. Thank you for choosing me. I really do appreciate that. Especially in, let's see, information like that travels fast. It's possible that someone heard about the first case and decided to imitate it. I have no idea what's going on in this game, but thank you for entertaining me during Breath of the Wild Shrine cleanup. Yeah, it's a wild game, isn't it? And yeah, that sounds cool. I mean, there's a lot of shrines to find, so good luck. There's still a lot of mysteries to be solved here. I hope we get a chance to revisit this at a later date. Now, an update on a series of arson attacks that have been taking place in Shibuya, Tokyo. Chapter 6, Their Resistance. I think with this, we are halfway through the game. Down to 11, wow. Soy Sauce says, Brodic notes is thankfully the entry that's mostly devoid of fan service, mostly a wholesome time. I see. I believe Soy Sauce said before, there's 11 chapters in the game, and we're on chapter 6. I can't believe there was something like that in the basement of Tokyo General Hospital, though. Takashi Shinjo frowned as he leaned back into the sofa inside the messy office. Frisia Corporation was located on the second floor of an old multi-purpose building in Sakuragaoka. Yeah, I couldn't tell you, Soulcaster, but it seems like quite the connections. At this hour, the 20 or so desks in the room were mostly empty, but that didn't mean that things weren't busy. Investigation companies like Frisia did a lot of work outside the office. It was precisely because they were busy that there was no one here. I think so, 556. And yeah, it looks like we did drop a few frames, but it's stopped now, so hopefully it'll cease for now. We'll see. 3 people were having a serious discussion inside the empty office. Well, I can understand why you'd be skeptical. In front of him was the CEO of Frisia, Katsuko Momose. Why would I waste my time lying to you? Mio Kunisada was sitting further away from him, not even bothering to conceal her displeasure. It was clear she had no intention of being friendly with him. Of course, I'm not saying that I don't believe you. I know there's a lot of weird rumors about that hospital. And we've got living proof, too. Shinjo looked at the other person on the sofa. It was a tiny little girl. She was really taking care of the patients in the facility? Yep, that's right. Think we can get anything out of her now? You can try, but you might just be disappointed. Huh? Well, you see, I'm going back. Please, I'm going back. Please let me go back. That's all she ever says, that she wants to go back. She won't answer any of our questions. It's rare to see you having a hard time with anything, Momose. Shinjo stood up and dragged an office chair over to the sofa the girl was sitting on. He sat down as slowly as he could so as not to scare her, and looked at her at eye level. Uki Yamazoe, right? He tried to speak as softly as he could, but she still shivered at his voice. No need to be scared. I'm a policeman. A policeman? That's right, so don't worry. If you're a policeman, then help me. Of course, so I want you to tell me who locked you in that dark basement. These people kidnapped me. Help me. Send me back. Uki Yamazoe looked at Kunasato for just an instant, and then looked back to Shinjo, begging. So I'm a kidnapper, you see. Want to arrest me? Don't make this any more complicated. Hey Uki, you seem to be misunderstanding things, but you were made to do terrible things in that basement, and now you've been rescued. There was nothing terrible, I was just helping everyone. That's my job. So I have to get back. Everyone will have trouble without me. That explained why even a veteran like Momo was having trouble. Shinjo looked at the two and shrugged. I don't know what to do. Right? From what I've heard, things in that basement were pretty bad. I wonder if a normal girl would want to go back there. I wouldn't. Well, what we do here might be just as bad. Amose chuckled. I took a look at her scalp, and there's no traces of a lobotomy or electric shocks. We won't know for sure unless we do a brain scan, but my guess is that she's been locked down there for so long that she simply stopped questioning it. Same as an abused child, huh? Yeah. I don't know what to do. Shinjo looked back at the girl, who now seemed as if she was about to cry, and started to scratch his head. As of now, the police had no reason to make a move on AH General Hospital. None of the evidence he'd gathered had been acquired by legal means. He'd hoped that Uki Yamazoe's testimony would allow her to function as a whistleblower, but that was looking unlikely. Oh, right, Uki. Do you know this boy? Shinjo took out a smartphone out of his pocket. It was the one he'd borrowed from the younger officers. He picked out Takaru Miyashiro's photos from the ones he'd taken of the people involved at the Hekiho Academy shooting. You picked up his smartphone, he says. I've met him several times, but what's a smartphone? Huh? What? She doesn't know anything about anything that's newer than a few years old. Shinjo thought for a moment, then pointed it to his own phone. This is a smartphone. He dropped something like this, and you picked it up. Do you remember? Uki stared at the phone in his hands and then nodded softly. I thought so. What happened to it? I put it back where it was, right away. You put it back? You didn't take it with you? I wouldn't do that. Things I don't understand are scary. But Miyashiro says that he got a call from that phone. Wasn't it you who did that? Huh? Smartphones are machines that can show pictures like that, right? They can make calls too. Momose giggled a little. Shinjo glared at her, then turned the phone around and brought up a number from the address book. He tapped the number. The phone rang for a moment, and then an extremely irritated voice answered. No wonder she's getting so irritated. Yes, hello, this is Arimura. See, you can make calls with it. Shinjo turned up the volume so that Uki could hear it. Uki didn't seem to care. I see. Hello, what is this? If you don't have anything to talk about, I'm going to hang up. I'm about to go to lunch. No, I have something to talk about, something important. Can you help me with... No. At least let me finish. Listen, Shinjo, am I supposed to be your girlfriend or something? You're always calling me. It's kind of lewd. No, wait, I didn't mean... So you're a stalker then, right? I am not. I'm in trouble and I need your help. That's what all the bad boys say. Then you beg me for money or make me do weird jobs during cash for you. You make me sick. Be serious, this is important, please. Shinjo finally managed to quiet her down and then told her about Tokyo General and Uki Yamazoe. Got a living lie detector, so of course they're using her like crazy. And then he asked Uki a few more detailed questions, this time so she could hear. And as a result, well, Arimura, she's totally clean. She didn't tell a single lie. And she really doesn't know anything about these incidents. Do you think she's got something to do with the killer? Then you're wasting your time. I see. Shinjo's shoulders slumped when he heard that. He saw that Kunisato's did too. She'd probably thought that she could learn a lot of what she wanted to know from Uki Yamazoe. Kunisato frowned and looked at the ceiling. Arimura, thanks. You were a big help. I'll take you to lunch or something. Huh? You asking me out on a date? Then hell no. Oh. Alright. Sorry, we're buffering. Freaking thing. Okay, I think we're streaming again. Hopefully. I did a speed test and my upload was definitely pretty poor at the beginning. And I reset my stuff and it seems to got it back up. So hopefully it'll be fine. I honestly don't know what's causing issues. There's something up with the communication between OBS and Twitch. I don't know. It's up to date. Or it's kids sneaking internet at night or something like that, and just too much of it. But I can't imagine. Our internet's good. It should be fine. So I don't know what's up with that. So either way, I am back. So hopefully that's all good. I'm just going to refresh some things, make sure we're all set. Okay. So if you haven't yet, you might need to refresh. Alright. We should be good now. And we haven't dropped any frames after a minute and a half, so I think that's a pretty good sign. Alright, let's get back to it. Basically, we just used a lie detector. I don't know when you guys started doing all that stuff. Basically the girl is not lying about anything. She doesn't know anything, and Shinjo is just like, I'll treat you for, thanks for the help. I'll treat you to dinner or something. And then she's acting like, you ask me for a date. That's gross. That sort of thing. Joking stuff that Arimura does. Anyway, if I took a minor out on a date, I'd lose my job. Anyway, talk to you later. What do you mean later? Stop calling me. How many times do I have to... Alright. One second. Amy just showed me like everybody's usage, and it looks like... Here we go. Okay. He ended the call before Arimura could say anything further, and finally the room fell quiet. No one spoke for a while. The only sound was Uki Yamazoe mumbling, "I want to go home," as she stared at her feet. Well, we'll keep her here for a while more. But there's not much we can do beyond give her food and a place to sleep. Mimose stood up and rolled her tired neck. There was an unhealthy popping sound. That's still a big help. So we're going to have to start from nothing with AH General then. Start over from nothing. Not completely. I'll try to come up with a way to do a real search of that underground facility. No, there's nothing like that, Jade and Buck. I usually don't have any issues. Can you? If you file the appropriate paperwork, they're just going to pressure you to shut it down again. I'm sure. You're sure, then... Well, I can come up with an excuse. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But I can think of something. But I think I can do something. Excuse me. Oh, good night, Gregster. And if I can get this into the public's eye, I don't think they'll be able to ignore it. What? Did I say something strange? You're starting to remind me of them. Is that something I can be happy about? I don't know. If nothing else, you're probably in for a gruesome death. Alright, Watabe murdered. Matsukatsu in death. Gatsu in death. Alright, that's that. The power to move objects, telekinesis they call it. That's your power. My power. Now, try and focus on it in your mind. Make it move. Focus on it in my mind. Move. 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 I'm not saying that. Wow, look, the book on the desk. Seriously, it's floating. It moved. Wow, I'm surprised. This may be more powerful than I thought. Takaru Miyashiro, I've seen your power now with my own eyes. Kunisado-san. From now on, will you use your power to help Shibuya News? She wants me to help with Shibuya News? I need your power. Yes, with pleasure. That's great, Taku. You're amazing, Miyashiro. Well, of course, this is nothing. This feels like another delusion. This is too happy. Taku, come on, Taku. This is nothing. Yeah, I knew it. Nothing. Huh? Oh, he's up. This is my room? Then that was a dream just now? I looked at the clock. It was already well into the afternoon and approaching evening. Oh, I see. I remembered now. I'd met with Arimura and Kunisado at Cafe LAX, and then come back here late last night, still confused. After that, I'd gone home and thought, and then done some research on the internet, and finally gotten to sleep around sunrise. That's why I was only getting up now. Sheesh, I came here because I was worried about you, and you're peacefully asleep. Taku's so relaxed. What are you guys doing here? Surprised, I leapt out of bed. That's some greeting. Everybody came to see you because we were worried. Worried? About me? Why? Because, well, you know, right, Hana? I am Groot. Kazuki, you too? It was a tiny room, but I'd still only just realized that she was here now. I am Groot. Hey, Taku, that's a mean thing to say. Hana's been worried about you this whole time too, right? I am Groot. That was surprising. Kazuki was so worried about me she'd come all the way out here. I figured no matter what happened, she'd be sitting in the club room playing ESO2. Come on, guys, you don't have to be that worried. But, you know, a lot happened yesterday, right? That's right, Non was worried too. No, Kurusu was? Yeah. You didn't tell her about everything that happened last night, did you? Serika looked confused. Did you? Yep. Ah, crap. That stuff about psychic powers too?
うん
Yep.
なんで言っちゃう
Why did you tell her?
だってのんちゃんには隠し事してもバレちゃうんだもん
Sorry, Sauce. When I initially played through the game, I thought that scene was pretty dumb, and to be honest, I still do. But it does tie back to what Arimura tested Taku about earlier. Thinks his classmate doing high school or thinks is really idiotic, but he still wants to take part in those activities with them, which is conflicting internally. Yeah. Because even if you hide things from Nan, she finds out. Yeah, Kurisu was pretty sharp, and I couldn't imagine a girl like Serika being able to hide anything from her. I gave up and fell back into bed.
いけなかったかな
Should I not have? Serika looked apologetic as she fiddled with her Garo froggy strap.
いやいい
No, it's fine. If you told her, there's nothing I can do about it now. Knowing Kurisu, she was probably really upset now.
で
So?
それで来る
So what did she say?
あ
Oh, she said that since she couldn't move right now, she wanted us to stay with you. Was that all? Knowing her, she probably said a lot more, right? Like, don't do anything dangerous, or psychic powers are stupid, or something like that.
うん
Not really.
だってあの来る
I mean, it's Kurisu we're talking about here. That can't be all she said.
うん
No, that was all she said.
だよな
Right? I am Groot. I rubbed my eyes, still sleepy. Something didn't seem right.
ああそうだ
Oh, that's right. There was a call from Shinjo this afternoon about the phone you're looking
スマホの
for.
ことで
Oh. Ito slapped his hands together as if he just remembered something important. I quickly stood up. That was one of my biggest concerns right now.
新庄さんなんだって
What did Shinjo say? I eagerly pressed Ito for more information. Shinjo had said he intended to spend the whole day getting information out of that Uki Yamazoe girl. Of course, I told him many times to ask about that phone. Probably he had. Oh, about that.
それがな
But the answer I got was one I wasn't expecting.
あの子は
She doesn't have it?
持ってない
ああ
Yeah, she picked it up, but put it right back, she
すぐ
said.
元の場所へも
そんな言い訳
And Shinjo believed that?
新庄さんを
Really?
信じたのか
有村が確認したんだ
Arimura checked it out. She was telling the
嘘をついて
truth.
ないって
有村が
Arimura did? Which meant that she wasn't lying.
じゃあ
Then that weird call from my phone to
着
yours.
信があったの
それも彼女
She had nothing to do with it, supposedly.
そっか
I see.
つまり
In other words, someone else took my phone? Then who had the phone in that picture? And how and why had they managed to use my phone to call us and threaten us?
とにかく宮代の
Anyway, he says he's going to keep looking for it. For now, why not buy a new one? Huh?
タクはね
You're still the club president and our leader, right? So it's a big problem if we can't get in touch with you. We were worried all day for one
タ
thing.
クと連絡取れなくあとのんちゃん
And
の
Nan said it was really hard when she wanted to
お話し
talk
した
to
い
you.
時にすごく
I see.
そっか
I'm the leader. It felt kind of embarrassing, but I knew that only these guys would say something like that. Yeah, it's true that I won't be able to talk to everybody now if something happens.
うん分かった
Yeah, you're right. I'll go get a new phone soon. Serika smiled happily. So, about what we were talking about yesterday.
続きって
What we were talking about yesterday?
続きだ
久野里
Those psychic powers that Kunosato was talking about. Do you think they really exist?
それ
Oh, about that. I don't know. It seems a little too unscientific.
的すぎ
でも
But you were the first one to talk about psychic powers, weren't you?
それは
Well,
お前には見えたんだ
you
よ
could see that sword thing that Orimura had, right?
剣みたい
まあ
Well, I could, but
見えたけど
Orimura's sword, I think she called it a D sword, definitely looked real. Oh, he did not back up the photo cat, Evie.
やっぱお前は能力者ってことだろ
If you could see that, it means you're a psychic, right? Kunosato said so too.
伊藤
Ito, you still believe everything Kunosato says, huh? Even after what happened to you?
あれだけひどい目
She treated him pretty badly in the basement of the hospital. Maybe he was into that?
おいおい
Hey, don't look at me like that. It's not my fetish or anything.
いや
No, wait. You're always trying to piss off Kurisu, aren't you? Are you sure that's not deliberate?
言うよな
うわ
Shin's a pervert, huh?
解散だったんだね
I am Groot. Stop it, guys. Anyway, we're talking about Miyashiro's power right
そんなこ
now.
とより
Ito dragged us back to the original topic. This was definitely suspicious. No, I mean, I don't know about any psychic powers. I've never been able to use one when I wanted. Arimura and Kunisato said that the locks at the hospital and the Love Hotel opened because I wanted them to, but I'm not sure if I believe that. The door to the hotel room, the door to the hotel room might never have been locked in the first place, and the others might all just be coincidence, right? Did you try it? Try it? Yeah, I mean, you won't know if you can do it unless you try it, right? It might be easy once you know the trick. I am Groot. Even the normally disinterested Kazuki was staring at me with curiosity. It was rare to see her like this. Maybe she was interested in psychic powers and the occult? Let me see. Or did you try it on your own and it didn't work? If that's the case, that's too bad, but... No, I wouldn't do anything that stupid by myself. I lied. Actually, last night I tried and it hadn't worked. Let's try it. Come on, it's not going to hurt you. But how do I try it? Maybe like focus hard? I tried that and it didn't work. Come on, Taku, focus, focus. Focus on what? Like, you know, on moving that book there. And now this was just like my dream. Soisa saying, I just figured this out. Chaos Child is often considered a thematic sequel to Chaos Head, as it takes similar themes and events and then subverts them. Takumi from Chaos Head never wanted to have a phone despite his family wanting him to get one, as he preferred isolation than connection. Takaru didn't want to get a new phone because his old one had the photo of his family, losing that connection and feeling isolated. Oh, interesting. And now this was just like my dream. Fine, I'll do it. I'll try, but don't get your hopes up, okay? It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Let's see him take the challenge. Takaru Miyashiro, ladies and gentlemen, can he do it? Clap, clap, clap. Suddenly, Sarika stood up straight and gave me an introduction and a round of applause. I had no choice but to stand in front of the book and get ready. Oh, later, Oscar. I raised both hands slowly and concentrated. Move, move, move. I stuck my hands out quickly, and then the pages of the book slowly started to... it's not moving, huh? I told you, right? I can't do it. That's lame. Hana's really wanted to see the psychic powers. Come on, Kazuki, don't punch the walls of my house. I'm glad though, Taku. Sarika opened one of my mountain views and smiled. I hadn't seen her take it from the refrigerator. Oh, I'll take one too. Sarika handed Ito the plastic bottle she was holding and then took out 2 more from the fridge. She gave one to Kazuki. Hey, those are mine, guys. You better pay me back later. Oh, come on. Don't be so stingy. Living on your own is expensive. Actually, I'll take one too, Onaway. That was 4 bottles in total. I'd have to go buy a new pack. Thanks. So, why are you glad? Huh? You just said you were glad. Oh yeah, because if you did have that power, it might mean your life was in danger, right? Huh? My life would be in danger? Same VA as Vash from Trigun? Wow. Trigun's awesome. After everyone left, Sarika's words repeated again and again in my mind. Well, not Johnny Young Bosch and obviously we don't have an English dub, the Japanese voice actor for Vash. there was a chance that all the victims of these murders, they were calling them the return of the new generation madness, had psychic powers. That was the conclusion I'd reached as well. If I had the power that Kunasato and Arimura said I did, I could be a victim too. And Arimura had said before, killed me? What the hell was going on? Normally I'd be excited that my theory about psychic powers, that's an interesting spelling, had been proved correct, but instead, why did I have to start worrying about that they'd come after me? This doesn't make sense. For one thing, I couldn't use any psychic powers. See? Excuse me. See, I tried and nothing moved. I focused and nothing started floating. I knew for a fact that I didn't have any powers, so even if other people said I did... But what if the killer mistakenly thought I did the same way Arimura and Kunasato did? In that case, even if they were wrong, my life would still be in danger. No way, that's crazy. What was that sound? The door? Again. Was someone here? But the others had just left, and there was no one else who would come here. No way. Could it be someone who wanted to kill me? No way. You're kidding, right? You've got to be kidding me. I can't use them. I don't have any powers. No, stay back. Stay away. It's not the right date, dude. Just calm down. No, I'm not a psychic. I'm not. But despite my pleas, the door slowly opened. What? What's all this noise? What? Again? Hey, Taku. I just got back. Don't scare me like that. I staggered back and sat down on the bed. And I was nice enough to bring you your favorite thing too. Oh, I know. I bet you were hoping I was a girl, huh? Of course not. Well, that's the way it is with boys your age. So, here you go. Gen tossed me an issue of Cool Cat Press, then stuck out his hand. To be honest, I didn't feel like it, but... Is 500 yen enough? Thank you for your business. Now I can enjoy another cold one. Why not try saving up? You fool. A real man never saves up more money than he needs to get through the night. Listen up, Taku. If you're a man, then don't be stingy. Or the girls... Right. Go home. He's mad. I pushed Gen out of the room and shut the door. The room became strangely silent once more. The occasional passing of a train seemed exceptionally loud, but when it was gone, the silence returned. Shibuya Station was very close, but once you got even a little bit away, it became like this. Normally, I love the silence, but today I felt a little lonely. Don't look at me, leaky noise, revolving dead, and Gatsuan death. They all had stupid names, but they were all brutal murders. And... Hey, here is live. Damn it, there's no way. I flipped open the new Cool Cat Press to take my mind off it. The page read, "Polish your hidden talents to make girls love you." Still Monday. We're over here with No. Okay, all done. Thanks, Yui. It's nothing. You always do so much for us, and I'm not a kid anymore, so you can count on me when you need me. How crazy have things been today? Well, we just found out Takaru might be a psychic, or is definitely a psychic, so that's something. Yui smiled as she finished disinfecting the wound and applying the gauze. Nono was a little surprised to see her smile look just like an adult's. Yui and Yuto had come to the Alba dorm at almost the same time as Nono and Takaru. At first, they were still young, and it took time for them to get used to life here, but now they were an indispensable part of the life at the dorm. Of course, it had been 6 years now, so perhaps that was only natural. That's right, Kurisu told herself. People can get used to anything. Nono thought about how long 6 years really was and softly patted Yui on the head. What is it, big sis Nono? No, it's nothing. I just realized how much you've grown up. Where'd that come from? I told you, it's nothing. I was just thinking it. And at the same time, she thought to herself, I have to protect this, no matter what. This thing she'd built up over the last 6 years. Her family. And... Listen, big sis Nono, don't go running around and making it worse again, okay? The way Yui stood up when she talked was just like Nono did. It felt a little embarrassing to watch. I'm sorry. And anyway, what's wrong with Brother Takaru? How could he just leave you when you were in pain? I thought that he was really nice even if he complained a lot. I guess I was wrong. Don't say that, Yui. Takaru's got his own problems to deal with, I'm sure. His own problems? Well... Kurisu knew that Takaru didn't want to hurt her. Takaru was just struggling as hard as he could. Against the circumstances he found himself in. Against the world. But... I don't know, but I'm sure he does. Weird. He still didn't realize that sometimes the only thing that brought was sadness. They'd kept Takaru's past a secret for his own sake. There was nothing to be gained from digging up the truths of the past. Takaru knew that. So why... Anyway, you need to stay put. That's an order from Dad. Got it? Right. One answer is enough. Right, got it. Very good. Yui said the line that normally Kurisu would say, then left the room. Kurisu chuckled as she watched her go. And then she took the phone off the side table. A moment after she turned it on, the phone's wallpaper appeared. It was a photo of her family, her dad, Yudo, Yui, and Takaru, with a blank expression on his face. It was one of her most important treasures. She stared at it for a long time, and then after a moment's hesitation, opened the photo gallery on the phone. There was Takaru, mixed in along with many of her other memories. He had the same flat look on his face, and it almost made her laugh out loud. At the very bottom of the gallery was a picture dated a long time ago. It was taken 6 years ago, just before the earthquake. There were 3 children in the picture. Nono, Kawahara, and one more. And then she heard a knock at the door. She quickly hid the phone behind her back. Big sis Nono, can I come in? What is it? Your friend's here. She said she came to check on you. My friend? Hey there. Sarika softly opened the door and came inside. Doing good? If I was doing good, I wouldn't be lying down like this. Oh, I see. Okay, I'll come back. It was a joke. Come in. Okay. Sarika came inside, moving a little more carefully and softly than she usually did. She sat down next to the bed. Should I bring something to drink? Oh, it's fine. Don't worry. Thank you, Yudo. Okay. Bye. Sarika smiled as she watched the door close. What is it? I was just thinking that Yudo's really grown up. He's still spoiled, though. Yudo was shy, particularly around people older than him, but he seemed okay with Sarika. It was probably because Sarika had been around Takaru for so long. So? Huh? The reason you came here. To check on you. We talked about how I was doing on the phone, right? So you didn't have to come here. I guess I really can't fool you, Non. Of course not. So what is it? Well, I was just thinking that you were acting kind of weird.
のんちゃんの様子がおかしい。私が？
I was?
うん。電話の声がね。元気
Yeah, on the phone. You sounded down.
何言ってるの？
What are you talking about? I'm hurt. Of course I'm not feeling well.
それはそうなんだ
That's
けど
true, but I don't know.
とにかく
You just seemed kind of weird, so I came by.
セリカ。
I guess I can't fool you either, Nono thought to herself.
のんちゃん？
None?
どうしたの？
What's wrong? Not feeling well?
そうじゃない。
No, that's not it. That's not it. It's just... Nono hesitated for a moment, then slowly took the phone out from behind her back. Oh, Jason Rocks, thanks for the tier 2 subscription. 30 months now. Let's go. Heck yeah. Thank you so much. Really do appreciate it. There was only one thought in her heart. I have to protect everyone. That was all. If she couldn't change things, they'd be put in danger. Takaru, her family, the rest of the newspaper club. So Nono made her decision. What she couldn't say until now. What she didn't say until now. She would tell everyone. Tell them what? Non?
セリカ。
Sarika, you said you saw information about a girl named Senri Minamisawa in that hospital basement, right?
うん。
Yeah.
これ。
Look. It was the picture Nono had been looking at a moment ago. There was Nono Kurisu, Masashi Kawahara, and one more child. None. This is... Hey, Lon, thank you very much for the tier 1 subscription. 21 months now. Have some emotes. Well, thank you so much, Lon. Really do appreciate it. And good night, Cat Evie. Take care. Thanks for joining. None. This is... Now that's interesting. What's up with that? Alright, let's take another look at what we know about these sumo stickers. These stickers first started to appear around the city in 2007. We don't know who put them up or why. It's said that they were simply a prank or that they have some kind of spiritual or religious significance, but neither of these theories are anything more than rumors. Progressing on a raid today. That's awesome. Congrats. But the majority opinion online is that the reason these stickers have been appearing in such large numbers lately is that they contain some sort of message. We'll ask our guest who's familiar with youth subculture. Here too. It's eerie that we don't know who's doing it or why. And here. When you look at the design of the stickers themselves, every channel I looked at was talking about the sumo stickers. The world was talking about the sumo stickers a lot more than I expected them to. Everyone was getting excited over old news and old theories. But none of them had reached the same conclusion I had yet. Well, of course they hadn't. It was way too far-fetched. But a while ago, I'd been confident. I'd been sure of my theory. And Kunosato and Arimura had confirmed it. But I didn't believe in it anymore, or more specifically, I didn't want to believe it. Because if those powers existed, it meant that I might be a victim too. I might eat my own hand, or rip open my stomach and shove a speaker inside, or have my head ripped off, or my stomach filled with pieces of paper with faces on them. I might meet the same end as all the others. A sliced arm. A bloody stomach. A severed head falling off its neck. Eyes that wept blood. A wide open mouth. The sumo stickers pouring out of it. If that happened to me... No. No way. I don't want that. No. Let's take another look at them. These are what the people call sumo stickers. A close-up of the sumo sticker appeared on the screen as the announcer spoke. The instant I saw it, I leapt from my chair, hallucinating that all the nightmares I'd seen so far were real, were real-booting and attacking me. I closed my eyes so I couldn't see the sticker. He is not in a good state. One theory says that a student at a design school started putting them up as a form of creative expression, but whatever the reason, it's been nothing but a huge nuisance ever since. I fearfully opened my eyes and tried to catch my breath. The sticker on the screen was still staring at me with its creepy face, but nothing had happened to me. That's a fake. I'd seen the 11th Rorschach image in the basement of that hospital. That was the real sumo sticker, and it had a terrifying effect on me. But many of the stickers that were showing up around town were fakes, put up by people hoping to be a part of the latest fad. They had no effect on me at all. Don't scare me like that, damn it! What's wrong? I'd finally calmed down, so when I suddenly heard a loud voice next to me, I jumped up again. Are you okay, Taku? Huh? I recognized the voice, but still I fearfully turned around. Hey, what happened? Wait, Onoe? I suddenly felt so tired that I almost dropped straight into the ground, but I managed to stop myself. What the hell are you doing? That's what I wanted to know. You screamed so loud that everyone outside could hear you. All the neighbors are scared for you. I was doing voice training. Yes. Soy sauce. Very strong irony in this part. Every early game, Takaru was so up his own ass finding the truth, no one else could to shove it in the face of everyone. Now he does have information no one else does, just like he wanted, but now he's in so deep that it's the reality check he needed to finally wake up. Yeah. Serika looked at me, worried. But, Taku, you're so pale, and you're sweating badly. Serika took a handkerchief out of her pocket and tried to wipe away my sweat. It's fine, I'll do it myself. I grabbed the handkerchief from her and scrubbed the sweat off my forehead. Oh, I'll wash this and give it back to you tomorrow. You don't need to worry about it. I don't think your sweat is especially dirty or anything. You should. Anyway, what do you want at this hour? I put the handkerchief in my pocket. Her face took on a much more serious expression than usual as she slowly began to talk. I want you to listen to what Non has to say. Kurisu? Right now? She said you could come tomorrow after school's over. But I think she actually wants to talk to you right now. Is it that important? Yeah, I could tell you, but Non says she wants to tell you herself. I see. Serika never took anything this seriously. It must have been something important. Okay, I'll go over there now. Okay, that's my Taku. You're always so nice. She grinned and giggled a little, then grabbed the handkerchief out of my pocket. Oh. Don't worry. I'm just going to enjoy the smell of your sweat, okay? Don't. See you tomorrow. What's up with that, Serika? That's a little weird. She squeezed her Garo froggy strap to say goodbye, then spun around and left the RV. Sheesh. I watched her go until she was out of the park. Kurisu wanted to talk about something important? As soon as she was gone, I tried to think. What could she want? Did it have something to do with what happened? The idea scared me a little, so I got ready as soon as I could and left the RV. I hurried down the usual route I took down to Alba Dorm, but... Okay. Something was different. Something wasn't the same as it had been before. Something was wrong. I'd just come by this path on the way home from school, but... So what was this strange dissonant feeling? Well, that's not good. The real ones. The walls, the fence, the streetlights, stickers were staring at me from all directions. And all of them were real. Not one of them was fake. It was that eerie 11th Rorschach image. Well, here we go. Time to go on a trip. The scenery in front of me suddenly warped and twisted. I felt the mountain view I just drank coming back up my throat, and I tried my best to keep it down. No, don't look at me, don't look at me. I'm not a psychic. There's no reason for you to come after me. No, even if Arimura and Kunosato were right, and I did have some kind of power, it was only a tiny little power which I couldn't master and wasn't even good for anything. So there's no point in coming after me. Leave me alone. Oh. That's freaky. I heard a strange voice from somewhere, like a cat in heat. No, this was... It was the sound of a baby crying? But I doubted there was any babies in this park. So what was that voice? What the heck? And then, all the stickers that were staring at me smiled. And then slowly, their eyes oh God, opened. No. Sheesh. I ran as fast as I could, not caring where I went. I just needed to escape the 11th Rorschach somehow. But yeah, I don't blame you for not liking the sound effects you're hearing, Amy. No matter where I went. Last says, Takaru seems to have changed since the beginning, since he doesn't seem to view himself quite as superior anymore. Not sure if this is my type of game, but I'm invested in his art. That's cool, at least, Lass. No matter where I went, here, and here, and here. There were so many of them. Were there really this many sumo stickers in Shibuya? How did I never notice? Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it, please. No matter where I went, it was like they were following me. The hell is happening? Hey, Mr. Madan. Yes, delusions are now being forced on you when you see the sumo stickers. I had no idea how long I'd been running from the phantoms of the sumo stickers. But no matter where I ran, the whole city of Shibuya was covered in them. And each time I saw one, I felt sick, dizzy, as if I was going to throw up. Add that to the exhaustion from running, and I was barely able to stand. Just when I'd reached the conclusion, there was nowhere left in Shibuya for me to rest anymore. There was nowhere in Shibuya left for me to rest anymore. I saw a silhouette crouched in an alley. It was a person clutching their arms to their tiny body. They looked like a stray cat. It was so different from the girl I was used to that at first I thought I must be mistaken. But when she looked up, I saw that it was her. Arimura.
八代先輩
What are you doing here?
こんな
ちょっと
I don't feel good because of those...
あれのせいで
Arimura pointed behind her but didn't turn around. But that was enough to tell me what she was pointing at.
力士シール
The sumo stickers?
そっか
I see.
先輩
You
も
too, huh? Not a delusion. It's happening to her too. Huh?
先輩もひ
You
どい
look
顔してる
terrible. You can't bear to look at them, can you?
あれ
違う
No, I
僕は
didn't want to admit it. If I admitted it, that would mean I had a special power like Arimura, and that my life would be in danger. That would mean that instead of me going after the case would be going after me.
なんだか急に
Is it just me, or there are more of them all of a sudden?
あれ
Arimura's voice was so soft that it was hard to hear her.
今
They're talking about it on TV a lot right now, so I'm sure all the wrong siders are sticking them up everywhere.
しかも
And not just the fakes, the real stickers too. It's really annoying.
全くだ
That's right. I think people like that are going to get sick of it soon, though.
だと
I hope so. Anyway, let's go to the Alba Clinic.
僕やクルスが
That's the care facility where Kurisu and I grew up. There's an exam room there, so even if you're not feeling well, you can get some rest. Right. I'm sorry.
立てるか
Can you stand?
それくらいは
I can stand on my
で
own.
きます
That's interesting. He's able to have this extra strength when he's actually helping somebody. She forced herself to smile, then ignored my outstretched hand and stood up on her own. Getting to Alba Dorm was a miserable experience. I could feel the influence of the sumo stickers increasing with every step I took. Are you okay? Yeah. Or so she said, but she didn't look good. And I wasn't in a position to be worrying about anyone else either. Hurry, just get to Alba Dorm. That was the one thought that drove me forward. But suddenly... Oh no! Oh boy! Oh boy! She appeared before us. A woman. It was a woman with a strange presence. If we'd been on Shibuya's typically crowded streets, I doubt I ever would have noticed her. But on this empty street, she was impossible to miss. Her long hair covered most of her face, and with the streetlight at her back, I couldn't read her expression at all. But I could see the strange, hungry light that shone from her eyes through the thick hair that otherwise concealed her features. It was a dark light, one that somehow brought a deeper blackness, not illumination. Miyashiro.
先輩
Arimura's voice was shaking. She realized how strange the woman was too. And then... my eyes met hers. The next instant... she laughed, or so it seemed to me. Her laugh was empty, but at the same time somehow satisfied. It was a laugh like evil itself, and it was like nothing I'd ever heard before in my life. And then, in a raspy, unpleasant voice, she spoke. I found you. This girl is bad news. Alarm bells went off in my mind. Bad, this is bad, 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 bad. My knees started to buckle. My instincts told me that she was dangerous. Arimura was staring at the woman, not moving a muscle. No, she probably couldn't have moved, even if she wanted to. It was like we were paralyzed. That woman, she's... Arimura barely got out the words. I think she's a psychic.
能力者
A psychic? I didn't want to admit it. But just looking at the woman in front of me was enough to dash all my hopes. Psychics are real. This woman, her very existence was enough to make me believe. Arimura. What is it? What's her power? I didn't know about any of the Gigalomaniac's powers besides Arimura's. But from what I'd seen so far, some of them were a lot more dangerous than the ability to tell that when someone was telling the truth. There had to be more types, for instance, ones that could be used as weapons. And there was no doubt in my mind that this woman had that sort of power. Damn it, if I'd known this was going to happen, I would have done more research. It didn't matter whether I believed or not. How could I not have the information I needed at a time like this? Arimura. I don't know either. It could be telepathy, it could be precognition, it could be clairvoyance, but... Arimura's eyes were fixed on a single point. She probably couldn't look away. I think her power is more dangerous. Her power is something that can hurt people. The woman started walking sluggishly towards us. Slowly, slowly. I finally realized that the reason she seemed to be off balance was that the reason she seemed to be off balance as she walked was that she was dragging one leg. Maybe she injured it, or maybe it had never worked right. She approached us one step at a time, as if enjoying our fear. She took another step. A horrible smile was frozen on her face. Her eyes were looking straight at us, as if she didn't want to let her prey escape. I have to get out of here, but my body wouldn't move. My body had turned to stone as if I'd been stared at by Medusa. Medusa, bloody tears, maybe this is a Castlevania game. And then suddenly, the wind blew. The woman's long hair flew up, and I could see just a little of her face. Arimura gasped. The woman had been terribly burnt. Her face was covered in horrible burn scars. The smile disappeared from her face. Instead, it was replaced by rage. There was nothing there but burning rage and the color of anger. She slowly brought her hands up, and then pushed them out towards us. Oh, she's a pyro. Well, that explains the fires. Arimura screamed and pulled at my hand as hard as she could. A pillar of flame sprung up right where I was standing. There was a blast of heat and the awful stink of burning asphalt. A burning pain ran down through my cheek as the heat struck it. What was that? Pyrokinesis. Sheesh. She waved her arm, and the next moment, the space in front of me was a sea of crimson flames. Arimura and I tried our best to get away from the fire. Pyrokinesis? I knew that meant the ability to create fire. If I remembered right, it was a word created by a famous novelist. All over the world, there were historical records of unexplained fires breaking out for no clear reason. Spontaneous human combustion, where a human body would suddenly burst into flames, was one form of those incidents took. Of course, spontaneous human combustion was considered pseudoscience, as most scientists believed those incidents were actually caused by static electricity or EM waves. And now, real pyrokinesis was happening right in front of me. Miyashiro, why are you just standing there? Huh? The next thing I knew, the woman was stretching her hands out toward me. Well, that's not good. I rolled along the ground with Arimura at almost the exact same moment the fire exploded outward. The smell of burning hair stung my nostrils. Oh no, my hair! There's no time to worry about that. We kept moving away, only barely dodging the burning flames. Pillar after pillar of fire appeared behind us. It looked like the flames had spread to a bike and some garbage that were lying by the roadside, but I didn't have time to check. We had spontaneous human combustion back in Parasite Eve 56. The woman was getting closer, dragging her leg as she walked. I tried to grab her and run, but... a fire appeared right in front of us, and as we tried to dodge it, we both lost our balance and fell to the ground. The planter next to us was on fire. I looked up as the footsteps got closer and saw that the woman was right on top of us. She's going to kill us. That was what was going through my mind as I lay there, frozen in terror. This wasn't an anime or a movie, this was reality. The pain from where I'd hit my leg when I fell, the pain from the burns, all these flames, the smell of melted asphalt, it was all real. Kunosato had said that the Gigolomaniac's power came from delusions, and not just any delusions. These delusions affected the brains of others, and through being shared, they became reality. Excuse me. The delusions of the Gigolomaniacs and the shared reality they create are capable of altering the physical world itself. That's what makes them so dangerous. Yes, and because of that, impossible pyrokinesis was happening right in front of me. And that power was going to kill me and Arimura. Delusional flames would become reality, and in that reality, we were going to be burnt to death. Well, that doesn't look so good. You know what's weird? If you look upside down, that's a smile. That's just a straight up smile on her face. The woman slowly pointed her hands towards us. Maybe I was imagining it, but the air around me seemed to grow hotter. No. I don't want to die. I don't want to be roasted to death by these flames. No, I don't want to die. No, 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 no. I still don't want to die. I think it's time for Takaru's power to activate. A bigger spiral of flame than any we'd seen before appeared before us. Turn that frown upside down. We had the same thought. Nice. But at the same time... Ah! Time for him to get his sword. Something strange appeared in the corner of my eye. Frighteningly sharp, but frighteningly fragile. Infinite and finite. Phantasmal and real. Like all the ugliness and beauty in the world had been compressed into one object. It was a D-sword. It was clearly a different shape than Arimura's, but still, I could see it. But since I didn't know how to draw it, I just desperately struck the woman with every delusion I muster. I imagined the sword slicing through her flames, and flung that image at her with my imagination. The burning fangs that threatened to engulf the two of us exploded. And then the fire danced like a snake. It flew in a straight line toward the woman who had created it. Sheesh. The fire turned into a spiral that leapt at her. She fell over in shock. Miyashiro, what was that? Was that my power? While I hadn't been looking, the D-sword vanished from my vision. Let's get out of here! Arimura suddenly fell silent. I turned to see what she was looking at. As the air rippled from the smoke and heat of the flames, the woman slowly stood up. I gasped at the color of her eyes. The fire that had been there a moment ago was gone. The light that burned with hatred was gone. There was only ice. Her eyes were ice, frozen, emotionless, and piercing. Arimura and I couldn't move. Slowly, with an unsteady rhythm, the woman approached us. And then stopped a few steps away. Smoke was rising off a garbage bin behind us. The planter by our side was making crackling noises from the heat. There was nowhere to run before us, behind us, or anywhere else. I couldn't even hear the bustle of the town. But the beating of my heart sounded even louder. The sound of my saliva running down my throat. The sound of my breathing. The sound of my blood flowing. All of those sounds offered proof that I was still alive. But soon they would be gone. They would all disappear inside the burning flames. No. My legs shook. My eyes blurred with tears. Please, no. I don't want to die yet. I could barely speak, but the woman's expression didn't change, not even a little. And as she raised her hand toward me, I closed my eyes. I was going to... Huh? I slowly opened my eyes. And then... excuse me. The woman was gone. Was I saved? All the strength drained from my body, and I collapsed to the ground. I thought I was a goner. I thought she would kill me for sure. No, until a moment ago, she was definitely going to kill me. I could tell from her eyes. They were cold, without a trace of doubt, uncertainty, or hesitation. So why had she suddenly disappeared? Arimura? I looked up and saw that Arimura was standing there, staring at the spot where the woman had disappeared. Miyashiro. What is it, Arimura? Is there something else? No, that's not it. It's just... I'm too scared to move. All right. I'd say that's a pretty good spot to end it. Holy hell. Did not expect to have such an intense finale for this session. Wow. So yeah, with that, we are over half done, I'd say, since 11 chapters and all that. Jacob started tuning into these streams more often, definitely getting intense. Yeah, I think we've definitely hit the point of where things are definitely going to start happening. Don't know about explanations or anything like that, but we're definitely getting there for all this stuff. Rob Harley, thank you very much for that tier 1 subscription for 9 months now. Saying, I can't believe I slept through the whole stream and forgot to share this. Whoops. No worries. But yeah, certainly getting interesting. No idea how much longer we have to go, but if I had to guess, if we keep going at this pace, we'll probably be done around session 12. I don't know. Yeah, definitely a slow start, but it is picking up. Absolutely picking up. It was a very interesting start, but then it sort of petered out a little bit as they were setting up characters and whatnot. So we'll see. Series is notorious for being slow burns and not much happening in the first few chapters. Yeah, I can see that. So, yeah, we'll see how this all progresses. We are on chapter 6 of 11. But yeah, we'll be back, of course, next Sunday for even more of we're gonna have to end off soon. I just dropped a few more frames, so we're like on that cusp. But yes, we'll be back next Sunday for more Chaos Child. Should be interesting to see what the hell happens next, especially with Nono's revelation coming up. So that'll be something. And of course, tomorrow we'll be back with more Outer Wilds and see what new mysteries we can see what's going on. Because of the drop frames, it's going to be difficult to set up anything. So I'm just going to have it end and not do a raid tonight. So apologies for that. But hopefully you all have a great week. Hopefully I will see you tomorrow for the Outer Wilds, or next Sunday for more Chaos Child. So yeah, everybody have a great night. Take care, and we'll see you all soon. Bye.